Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Amber, for inviting me to participate in this webinar this afternoon. As Amber mentioned, I'm Janice Bracey. I'm the Director of the Regional Office of Small Business Utilization for GSA, and I cover all of New York State, Northern New Jersey, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So those are my territories. Today, I'm going to be talking about the GSA Schedules Program and what you need to know to get started with this program. So I'll be giving an overview of GSA's Office of Small Business Utilization, the importance of market research prior to becoming a schedules holder, prerequisites for becoming a GSA schedule supplier, and I will be outlining the process to get on a GSA schedule. Okay, so GSA is basically an acquisition agency, a procurement agency. We are considered the we are considered the federal government's, the federal government's business manager. And we are also the federal government's real estate manager. So our sole mission is to deliver best value and savings in real estate, acquisition technology, and other mission support services across the federal government. As I mentioned, we are the federal government's procurement agency, so we are considered a procurement expert. We help other federal agencies acquire space, products, and services needed from commercial sources such as you. We have two primary acquisition business lines, and one is the public building service, and the public building service provides real estate space, architecture, I still said it wrong, right? My tongue is tied already. Interior design and construction to federal agencies. And our other division line, the Federal Acquisition Service to business line delivers a vast number of commercial goods and services at best value across the federal government. So these two are primary acquisition business lines. We do have other business lines, and some of them do some purchasing, but these are the primary two that we have. Okay, just a brief overview of OSBU, Office of Small Business Utilization. According to the Small Business Act, as amended by Public Law 95507, the Office of Small and Disadvantaged notice that GSA does not include the disadvantaged. We are called Office of Small Business Utilization, but most other federal agencies are called Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization. We were established to advocate within each federal executive agency for maximum practical use of all designated small business categories within the federal acquisition process. So I like to say that we are the small business advocate for the agency. We are making sure that we educate small businesses on how to enter into the federal government's marketplace. We want to make sure that you have the tools that you need to enter into that space. So we do a lot of outreach, we do webinars, we do training sessions, we attend networking events, we put on industry days when we have a major procurement that we need to introduce to the public. We will have an industry day. We do reverse industry days, which means that we invite businesses to come in and present their capabilities to GSA. So we call those reverse industry days. So we're doing a lot of outreach because, again, we want to make sure that you have the tools that you need to enter into federal government marketplace. Our second function, which is just as important as outreach, is in-reach. Okay, so our in-reach function is making sure that we work very closely with our acquisition staff to make sure that when they have a procurement, that they consider contracting with small businesses for that procurement. So we're always looking at small businesses first. That is our motto here in GSA, small businesses first. However, there are some requirements that I'll probably speak about a little later in order for that to happen. But just keep in mind, we are always looking for small businesses to do business with to satisfy our procurements. So GSA has 11 regions, and we are all throughout the United States. Again, I'm with Region 2, which is the Northeastern Caribbean region, and I mentioned the territories, all of New York State, New Jersey, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Okay, so I'm diving right in. What is the GSA schedule? Okay, so GSA schedules contracts, also known as GSA schedules or federal supply schedules, which we used to call many, many years ago, are indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity, also known as IDIQ contracts. They're long-term contracts under the GSA Multiple Award Schedules Program. So what we do is we establish long-term government-wide contracts with commercial companies to provide access to government agencies to millions of commercial products and services at volume discount pricing. And the reason why we have this program in place is because it provides fast, flexible, cost-effective procurement solutions that allow customer agencies to meet their acquisition needs. Okay, it cuts down the procurement process time by a lot. Okay, agencies do not have to, let's say, put a request for proposal on the street, wait 30 days for responses, and then review those proposals and then award to the best value at the best price. So this can take months. So we have this program in place so that it can cut out the procurement process time for federal agencies. There is a lot of cost savings involved because we're negotiating with you for a fair and reasonable price. Okay, as I mentioned, it saves time. Agencies can receive and achieve transparency and control the procurement. Okay. By the way, the GSA Schedules Program is a great marketing tool for your company, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, so these are some of the top 10 scheduled sales in fiscal year 2017. And as you can see, Schedule 70, which is our information technology schedule, came in at $15.4 billion in spend in sales. So that is the top grossing schedule, or was, I should say, for 2017. Is probably higher than that now. We don't have the data for fiscal year 18 yet, but as you can see, this is one of the top ones. The next one is The consolidated professional services schedule came in at 7.4 billion. Excuse me, I'm not going to go through this whole list, but as you can see, our schedules are generating a lot of sales, which means that businesses are generating a lot of sales. Approximately 15 billion of products and services are purchased through the 31 different schedules. I should say $15 billion. That's a lot of money, okay? And this represents approximately 21% of overall federal procurement spending. And the most important bullet on this slide is that 80% of schedule holders are small businesses. Okay, so that's a good deal. All right, so if you are interested in getting into this program, here are some things that you need to consider. And the first one is that $25,000 in sales. You must generate $25,000 in sales within the first 2 years of being on schedule, of being in the program. Let me explain a little bit. Okay, so the program has a 5-year base period with 3 5-year options to renew. Okay, so base period is 5 years. The first 2 years of that base period, you have to generate $25,000 in sales. For the remaining 3 years of that 5-year base period, you have to generate $25,000 in sales each of the remaining 3 years. Okay, very important, because during the first 2 years of being on schedule, if you do not generate that $25,000 in sales, you risk being terminated from the program. Okay. The second bullet says that you have to give to GSA 0.75% of each of your quarterly, your scheduled sale on a quarterly basis, okay? This is not an out-of-pocket fee, okay? Because when you put together your pricing for GSA, the pricing that you're going to offer to the federal government, you're going to add that 0.75% into your pricing. So again, this is not an out-of-pocket fee, okay, because you already added it in to your pricing. So you have to give this back to GSA on a quarterly basis, and this is from your scheduled sales only. We are not looking at any outside sales that you are generating from your commercial customers, your private sector customers, or city or state government. This is only sales that you are generating from your schedule, okay? There are auditing and setup requirements involved, and the demand is varied, okay? Let me say this. Being in the GSA Schedules program does not guarantee any sales. It is a marketing tool, as I mentioned earlier, and it could be a great marketing tool for you, because GSA Schedules program is the premier acquisition vehicle for the federal government, meaning that most federal agencies prefer to contract with companies that are in this program. Okay, so demand may be varied. Okay, all right, of course there's paperwork. However, you will need to fill out the solicitation package through an electronic site called eOffer. eOffer is our scheduled solicitation tool, electronic tool, where you go to fill out the solicitation package. Okay, award process time. We are aiming for 120 days. However, that time can vary. It depends on the volume of offers that our acquisition centers are getting in. It depends on how well you fill out your solicitation package, okay? Because if there are documents missing or we need clarification on anything, we will need to get back to you and you'll need to submit those documents or give us clarification on anything that we need. So that can increase the award process time. But again, we're aiming for 120 days, but it can take up to 6 months. In some extreme cases, it can take anywhere from 6 months to a year. So just keep that in mind. This is something that is not going to happen overnight. Okay. Modifications. You are allowed to modify your contract. Once you are awarded a schedules contract, you can modify your contract. However, you have to send in a modifications request, and you do that through a site called eMart. As a matter of fact, eMart and eOffer is the same site. Okay, so you have to request that modification. Okay, it's not automatically. Doesn't happen automatically. You have to request it. Okay, usually the modification can take effect within 5 days or so. So the turnaround is pretty quick. Just keep in mind that you have to request a modification. What are some of the reasons you may request a modification? Let's say you're on schedule for products, okay, and you would like to add and or delete a product. You can do that. You have to submit a modification clause. Or let's say you had an administrative change within your business, okay, and you need to let your contracting officer know that and make that change. You can do that through the modifications clause. Okay. All right. So GSA Advantage, once you are in the program, you have to upload your GSA price list of authorized products and services on your schedule onto GSA Advantage. GSA Advantage is the federal government's shopping network, is where federal agencies go to shop. Very similar to Amazon. So when you think about GSA Advantage, think about Amazon. Okay, but GSA Advantage is for all of our schedule holders that currently have contracts with us. Okay, very important that you upload your price list immediately after award of your contract. Okay, because this is where the federal government goes to shop. So keep that in mind. I was speaking to a vendor yesterday, and the vendor happened to be on schedule, but he wasn't sure if the company's price list was on GSA Advantage. So I told him, make sure you check. That's very important. Okay. Moving along. All right. Creating a federal business plan. It is highly suggested, not mandatory, but highly suggested that you create a business plan for this program or before starting this process, okay? And your business plan should include an estimate of the expected return on investment, ROI, a marketing plan. How do you plan on marketing your schedule once you get on schedule? And we'll talk about that a little later, marketing. A determination of whether or not you have the dedicated personnel for this new venture. Very important, because this is going to take some work on your part, okay? You need to make sure that you have adequate staff to handle this project, okay? Because it becomes a project, all right? Market research should also be conducted to determine which federal agencies have purchased your product or service. Very important, because you need to know who to market to, who to target once you get into the program. Who are you going to target? Where are those federal agencies located? What was the price of those sales? Okay. And what are the buying trends and forecast sales for your products and services? Very important. All right, so here are some prerequisites for the program. You need to be in business for at least 2 years and provide 2 years of financial statements. Now, as you can see in parentheses, it says IT Schedules 70 Springboard, and I'll talk about that a little later. But IT 70 is our information technology schedule, and we have an initiative in place for that, and I'll explain a little later. If you are offering products, please, please, please make sure your products are in compliance with the Trade Agreements Act. There are companies that the federal government and GSA, I should say, there are countries that we do not do business with. We do not have a Trade Agreement Act with, okay? So we call them non-designated countries, okay? And yes, there are countries that we do business with, and we do have a Trade Agreements Act with, and we call those designated countries. So you need to check to make sure if you want to offer products to the federal government that those products are coming from designated countries that we have a Trade Agreements Act with. Okay. By the way, we do monitor this. As a matter of fact, we monitor your contract. We do not just award a contract to you and say, okay, shake your hand, whether virtually or in person, and say, we wish you the best. No, we monitor your contract. You will have a contracting officer assigned to you throughout the life of your contract, and that could be for 20 years, okay? You have to demonstrate past performance. This program is not for startup firms, okay? So keep that in mind. If you just started your business, maybe 6 or 7 months ago, a year ago, this program is not for you. Unless you're in the IT field, okay? Because as you can see in parentheses, IT Schedules 70 Springboard, okay? Products must be commercially available. This program mirrors commercial buying practices, and we are looking for commercial off-the-shelf products, okay? All right, so here's a little screen capture of GSA eLibrary. This is where you can go to search to find out which schedule your products and or services fall under. Okay, so you can search, say if you know a competitor of yours that may be on schedule, you can search that way, or you can search by a keyword. Let's say pencils or pens, you put that in, it'll do a search for you. Let's say electrical work, electrical services, you can put that word in. In other words, bottom line is you can search by any one of those things to find out which schedule you belong under, okay? As mentioned, we have 31 schedules currently in place. Little heads up, that's going to change. More to come on that. Keep watching. We have a blog called GSA Interact, and I'll talk about that a little later. Keep watching it. More to come on that. Okay. IT Schedule 70 Startup Springboard. I just have a quick question. Can you see my full PowerPoint? Because I'm seeing other stuff on my screen. You probably can see my entire, okay. All right, I was just curious. All right, so I mentioned before IT Schedule 7, the Startup Springboard. So this program that we have in place, this initiative, focuses on companies with fewer than 2 years of experience. As I mentioned earlier, for the Schedules program, you need to be in business for 2 years. Okay, but for IT Schedule 70, in lieu of the 2 year corporate experience requirement, you can now use professional experience of executives and key personnel as a substitute. You can use project experience of key personnel. You can provide financial documentation that demonstrates the company's financial responsibility in lieu of submitting 2 years of financial statements. So this is a good deal for those who are in the information technology field. And the reason why we have this in place, because GSA is the leader in innovation, the leader of innovation, I should say. We are always looking for new innovative ways to conduct business. And of course, technology is very big. Technology is basically how everyone does business these days. So we're always looking for the most latest and greatest technology out there. So that's why we have the 70 startup springboard in place, so that if your business is less than 2 years old, we will accept these requirements in place of being in business for 2 years. So that's a good deal. That's a really good deal. All right, so registrations and certifications. There are some things that you need to have in place before you enter into the Schedules program. First of all, you will need a DUNS number, and I'm quite sure all of you have one, a DUNS number. If you've been in business for a while, you should have one. That's Data Universal Numbering System, okay? It's basically like a social security number for your business, okay? If you do not have a DUNS number, please visit Dun & Bradstreet to get one, okay? And please do not pay for one. A DUNS number should be free, okay? And it usually takes one business day to get your DUNS number. And of course, please save your number because you're going to need it for future use, okay? SAM, System for Award Management, SAM. You need to be in SAM in order to do any type of business with the federal government, not only through the GSA Schedules program, but any type of work you want to do with the federal government, you need to be registered in SAM. So you need to have an active SAM registration within 1 year of your GSA schedule application. You will need your DUNS number in order to register in SAM. So again, if you don't have a DUNS number, get that first, and once you get it, then you register your business in SAM, okay? SAM confirms that your company meets the eligibility requirements to do business with the federal government, okay? Also, I'll say that this is where federal agencies go to look for businesses to do business with, okay? And this is how we verify that you are a legitimate company, okay? All right, so very important, register in SAM if you're not already registered in SAM. E-offer, that site I was telling you about earlier that you'll need to go to fill out your solicitation package. E-offer will automatically pull your SAM registration information, okay? And last but not least, if you have any questions, please visit the Federal Services desk at fsd.gov. All right. So, in order to sign in into eOffer, you'll need a digital certificate. Okay, the digital certificate verifies your identity and enable you to electronically sign documents. Okay, very important because the entire application, the solicitation package, is digital. I mentioned you have to go through eOffer to fill it out. So you'll need this digital certificate. There are two companies that you can go to get your digital certificate. One is IdentTrust, and the other is Operational Research Consultant. Okay. Of course, you're going to save your digital certificate. All right. You'll need it to upload it into eOffer. There is a fee for the digital certificate, and that fee is $119. And it takes anywhere from 7 to 14 days to receive your digital certificate. Just want to add that this fee goes to the company that issues the digital certificate. This is not a GSA fee. Okay, keep that in mind. Excuse me. All right, so the next one is open ratings, past performance report. Okay, this report evaluates your past performance. It is a compilation of your customer surveys. It requires a minimum of 6 references and a maximum of 25 references from customers that you've done business with. Okay? You will be rated on reliability, cost, order accuracy, delivery/timeliness, quality, business relations, personnel's professionalism, customer support, and responsiveness. Okay? You are required to obtain a score of 80% or higher. Once you receive your report, please save it because you'll need to upload it into eOffer. The report is valid for 1 year from the date of issuance. Again, there's a cost, $190, and it usually takes anywhere from 35 to 45 days to receive your report. Okay, so there are 2 fees involved with getting into the program. That's the fee for the digital certificate and the fee for the open ratings report. And again, these are not GSA fees. They go to the companies that issue the report and the certificate. So keep that in mind. All right, there are some training involved with getting into the GSA Schedules program. One is the Pathways to Success training, and the other is Readiness Assessment. The Pathways to Success training gives you guidance on GSA Schedules contracts, gives you guidance on how to be a successful vendor, process requirements, and guidance on the offer process. You have to complete this within 1 year of submitting your solicitation package. For information, you can visit the Vendor Education Center, okay, and also to take the course, you'll need to visit the VEC Center, the Vendor Education Center. The Readiness Assessment Training, these are both mandatory courses, by the way. It gives you, well, I should say this, it walks you through questions that can help you determine if pursuing a GSA Schedules contract is right for your company. Because the GSA Schedules program is not a one-size-fits-all contracting vehicle. So you need to, determine whether or not this is the right program for you to get into. Okay. And the readiness assessment training helps you make this decision. Again, you have to complete within the first year. Within 1 year of the application. And also, this is on the Vendor Support Center. It used to be called Vendor Support Center. I apologize. It's the Vendor Education Center to take the course. Okay? So 2 mandatory courses. You will get certificates. You'll need to upload the certificates into eOffer with your solicitation package. Okay, some required documents. The first one is an agent authorization letter. This is basically for, you probably hear from companies that say they can get you on schedule for a fee. They're consulting companies, they're in business just like you are, and this is what they do for a living. They assist businesses with getting into the program. So if you decide to use one of those companies, okay, they will have to give you, or you will have to get from them, an authorization letter saying that, they are authorized to enter into the contract for you with GSA. Okay. But this is only if you're using, I guess you can say, third party. Okay. Using one of those consulting firms to get you into the program. We talked about the readiness assessment already, and we talked about pathways to success. We talked about the open ratings report. Okay. Last but not least, if you are an other than small business, a large business, you will need to submit a subcontracting plan, okay, with your offer. Okay, and the reason for this is that if the dollar amount of your contract is expected to be at 700,000 or more, and has the possibility of having subcontracting opportunities, you must submit a subcontracting plan. Okay. I'll say this: we expect you to submit a subcontracting plan. Okay. I'm trying to be nice, but we require, I'm going to say that, we require that you submit a subcontracting plan, because we want small businesses in all socioeconomic categories to get a piece of your contracting dollars. Okay? So for products or services, the contract is going to be at $700,000 or more. You will be required to submit a subcontracting plan. Okay, commercial sales practice format, CSP-1. It is a template within the solicitation package. Okay, and this is where you're going to outline your commercial sales, only your commercial sales. Sales should be provided for each SIN number, and that's special item number, and all schedules have a wide variety of special item numbers, but they all fit within the scope of that one schedule. Okay, let's say for information technology. The information technology will have a special item number for laptops, computers, a special item number for software, okay, for IT consulting, so on and so forth, okay? So if you are getting on schedule, let's say the IT schedule, and you are trying to get on the IT schedule for more than one special item number, you'll need to list commercial sales for each of those special item numbers that you're applying to, okay? This form will also ask about any written discount policies that you may have, and if these discounts are better than or equal to the pricing offered to the federal government. Okay, so this is what we negotiate off of, really. We look to see how you're pricing to your commercial customers, okay? And we will see, well, if we think that the pricing that you're offering is fair and reasonable, then that's fine. But if we think that you can offer us a deeper discount, you can offer the federal government a deeper discount, we will ask for that, okay? We already discussed the financial statements, 2 years of financial statements, except for the IT schedule. Okay, so from the date of offer, you need to submit either a balance sheet, income statement, net income / loss, and provide an explanation for any negative financial information disclosed, including negative equity or income. Okay. All right. The application has a price proposal template. And this is where you're going to outline the prices that you're going to offer to the federal government. This document should not be modified in any way. Do not modify this template. Okay. It is a template. Do not leave any sections blank to avoid a possible rejection of your offer, because we will reject it, okay? If there are any sections that you left out blank, if it doesn't apply, I would put in A, but make sure you fill out this document, the entire solicitation package for that matter. Make sure wherever you need to fill out something, you fill it out, because we will find your offer non-responsive, and we will reject it. Okay. Pricing support, invoices / statement of work, SAL. It should be the same percentage discounts being offered in the CSP-1 form, commercial sales practice format. And it should show the same prices in the price proposal template. Okay. Commercial price list or market rate sheet. We want to see how you're pricing to your commercial customers. So if you have a commercial price list, submit that. Or you have a market rate sheet, submit that. Okay. And as you can see here, prices dated between 1 to 3 years of your offer. Professional compensation plan. Submission of the general compensation practices printed in the offerer's employee handbook is often sufficient. State uncompensated overtime. So as you can see, we asked for a lot of information for you to get into this program. All right. Technical proposal. Technical proposal is a description of the items being offered in sufficient detail, and is similar to how businesses would respond to an RFP, request for proposal, and RFQ, request for quote. It should confirm all the information that you have submitted. Keep in mind that each schedule has its own technical proposal. So if you're thinking about applying for 2 schedules, keep in mind that each one will have its own technical proposal. Okay. Letter of supply. Letter of supply is very important if you're offering products and you have a supplier or a manufacturer. Okay. We want to make sure that you have a steady flow of supplies coming in, okay? So we will need a letter of supply from your supplier. If you have tried to get into the GSA Schedules Program previously and your offer was rejected, we would like to see that information, okay? Previous cancellations. If you have been on schedule and your offer, your contract, I should say, was canceled for any reason, we would like to see that information as well. We would like to see a copy of the cancellation letter or notification, current federal sales, in excess of $25,000 as evidenced by copies of contractual documents that identify the federal entity and the date and value of the product and or service provided. Also, you'll need to submit that marketing plan. Remember we talked about the marketing plan earlier? Okay, detailing the steps that you plan to take to generate sales through a new GSA Schedules contract. And the reason for this is that we don't want the same thing to happen to you again, okay? All right, subcontracting. Keep in mind that in order to do business with the federal government, you do not need to be in the Schedules program, okay? There are contracts that you can get outside of this program. The Schedules program is just one of many ways that we contract for our products and our services. I mentioned earlier that the Schedules program is the premier acquisition vehicle for the federal government, but you can absolutely get sales without being in this program. Also, you can participate in subcontracting. Please keep that in mind. There are subcontracting opportunities out there. I spoke about a little earlier that for other than small businesses, large businesses that have a contract with the federal government for products and or services that are at this $700,000 and above, they have to sub out. So they will be looking for small businesses to subcontract with. So please keep that in mind. GSA has a subcontracting directory, and it lists all of the current prime contractors that currently have contracts with us so that you can contact them and see if they have any opportunities available. Also, the U.S. Small Business Administration has a database called Subnet. And Subnet is where all the prime contractors can post their subcontracting opportunities. So there are two ways to look for subcontracting opportunities. Please keep that in mind. Another way to build your business, another way to build past performance, and also another way to generate monies for your company. Okay? All right. Okay, so I mentioned everything on the subcontracting criteria. We talked about the $700,000 for products and services. What I did not mention is for construction, which is not on schedule, by the way, but for construction, any prime contractors that have a construction contract and that the value of that the construction contract is at $1.5 million. Again, they have to sub out. They have to sub out to small businesses. Okay? So keep that in mind. Okay. So for more information, we have the GSA Mass Roadmap, a great site, a lot of information on there. Gives you information from A to Z about the GSA Schedules program. And it is an excellent guide for you to use to prepare your offer. Okay, so if you need additional information, please visit the Mass Roadmap. All right. So if you have any questions, feel free to visit the OSBU page or contact me. And if you're looking to do business in other regions or get on schedule that is managed by another acquisition center, you can contact my counterparts. Each of our regions has a small business office, okay? So feel free to reach out to us. Additional resources. The U.S. Small Business Administration. They are out there to assist small businesses as well to get federal government contracts. They do a lot of outreach. They do a lot of training. They have webinars. They have events. So they're out there educating small businesses about the federal government's procurement process as well. We have the Minority Business Development Agency, which is a part of the Department of Commerce. They're out there, they're assisting entrepreneurs in mostly minority communities to assist them with starting the business and how to enter into the federal government's marketplace. My favorite, my all-time favorite organization, again, my all-time favorite organization is the Association of Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, also known as the PTACs, okay? Procurement Technical Assistance Centers. They provide a great resource. They are a great resource for businesses, especially small businesses. They do bid matching. Most of them will help you with the Schedules Program. They're just a great resource. So if you're not hooked up to a PTAC, as Amber mentioned earlier, please contact them. Go to the map and see if there is a PTAC located in your area. They are a great resource for the federal government, okay? They do what the small business offices within each federal agency cannot do, because we are very short staffed. We have limited resources. So we consider the PTAC one of our best resource partners. Okay? So keep that in mind. All right. Doing business with GSA. To look for events, we do networking events, a lot of outreach events. You can go to gsa.gov/events. And for more small business resources, you can go to gsa.gov/smallbizresources. Okay. And as I mentioned earlier, we have something called GSA Interact, which I do not think is on this slide. No, it's not. Okay, GSA Interact is a blog, and GSA Interact is where we post information, okay? Any upcoming procurements that we're looking to put in place, we'll put the information on Interact. We'll ask for your opinions on them. We'll ask for your feedback, okay? So please visit GSA Interact. You can just Google it, GSA Interact. It's a blog where you can post questions. If you have any questions, if you say, for instance, you've heard a rumor out there that GSA is planning on doing something great and wonderful and you want to know if it's true, you can post that on Interact, okay? We will respond, okay? And I think that's it. Yes, again, my name is Janice Bracey, and here is my phone number and my email address. Please note that I really do prefer emails, but of course, if you call me, I will answer your call. And if I do not answer your call, please give me at least 24 to 48 hours to get back to you. But if you send me an email, I'll respond much quicker. Okay? Again, I want to thank Amber Stevens for inviting me to participate in this webinar this afternoon. Thank you for logging in to be with us. And now we're going to go to Q&A. So I guess I should stop sharing my screen.
You can leave it up for now.
Oh, I can leave it up? Okay, great.
That way everyone has a chance to jot down your information.
Okay, great.
So we do have a few questions, so I'll just get started with those. So the first question is in regards to the industrial funding fee. And they're asking, am I correct in assuming that 0.75% is based off gross sales, not net?
It's based on gross sales, that's correct. But remember, it's based on sales from your schedule only. Okay, sales that you're generating from your contract. But yes, gross sales.
Okay. The next question is, if I already bought the digital certificate in the past year, is it still valid?
It should be, unless it's over a year old, it should still be valid.
Okay. And the last question is asking if you would be willing to repeat where the past performance and evaluation report can be obtained.
Okay, that's from Open Ratings. Let me see if I can go back to that slide. That's from an organization, a company, I should say, called Open Ratings. And okay, I'm not 100% sure about this, but in the past, there used to be a form, and it probably still is. I'm just not sure, okay? But there used to be a form within the solicitation package that will have information on Open Ratings, or the actual form where you can fill out and submit it to Open Ratings. Okay? I'm not sure if they're still doing that, but I'm quite sure. Well, it would make sense. I'll say this. It would make sense that they're still doing that. I'm just not sure about it, okay? And if it's not, somewhere in that solicitation package, it should have information on where to send the requirements for the Open Ratings report, okay?
Great. Okay, it looks like that is all of the questions that we
Really? Oh, okay.
We do have a little bit more time for questions if anyone did want to ask anything else. But if not, we are actually recording this webinar, and the slides will be provided to everyone along with the recording following the wrap up of the webinar today. So I'll be emailing that information over to everyone so that if you do need a refresher, you want to go back and give it a listen again, you can do that. And it looks like, yeah, that was all the questions. So thank you very much, Janice, for your time today. That was a great webinar. I always learn something new from you when you do this for us. So I really appreciate you taking the time. And thank you, everyone, for logging in today. Have a great rest of the day, everyone.
You're welcome, Amber. Thank you. You have a great afternoon as well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.